Here we go. There you are. There you are, we three kings. Here we go, a little bit more.
Following yonder star, the star.
Like I said, my family always loved the traditional Christmas carols, the religious carols. Never real big on, I mean, come on, you got like Rudolph, I mean, give me that, but, you know, you get people, I worry, let me just, guys out there, take a tip from your old, you know, your old buddy Marky here. If your lady's favorite Christmas carol is Santa Baby, she's probably going to be high maintenance. Now, I know that's a stereotype, but, you know, consider that. Just... Used to be a soft rock DJ. Nothing I'm proud of. But the one time that I enjoyed it, I must tell you, was when it was Christmas time, because that's when you would have Christmas songs. And I never, you know, you know me, I'm not a soft rock guy. It's not my wiring. I'm a hard rock guy. I would like it when we would play Aerosmith. Yes, Aerosmith got on soft rock stations. Don't want to miss a thing. That would get played on there. More Than Words by Extreme would get on. So sometimes you get, you know, hard rock bands on there and such. But then come right after Thanksgiving, nothing but Christmas music. And, I mean, that was always a little fun. And a little bit of a change. I would learn all kinds of new Christmas carols. However, I will tell you this, I consider it to be a happy holiday season as long as I can go through two things, as long as I can not hear two songs. One, and nobody plays this anymore. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Tasteless. Okay, just don't give me that. If you want a country redneck Christmas carol, Merry Christmas from the Family. Look it up. Montgomery Gentry did it. Also has a reference to Harlingen, Texas, so I like it a lot. You know, but anyway, Merry Christmas from the Family. That's the real, you know, that's the down to earth, barefoot, yeah. Christmas carol right there. It's Christmas. I don't want to offend anybody. The other Christmas carol, though, and we would play this all the time. We would get requests for it. Oh my goodness, was it terrible. The Christmas Shoes. If you haven't heard this one, you've lived a better life than I. Don't seek it out. Okay, just like I say, you know, don't drink poison. Oh, certainly it can't be that bad. I think after you hear it, you will say, that's like poison cheese. I mean, you've never heard any, oh my goodness, you got, who sings the Christmas? I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. Now, I am a, you know, stand-up comedians have done 6 minutes on the Christmas Shoes. Song about, evidently, a woman dying. And somehow it's all going to be good if her son puts shoes on her that he cannot afford to pay for. She's going to be buried in the shoes? Christmas Shoes. Those are the two carols that, as long as you can get through the Christmas season without hearing those two, you're doing okay. Okay. And if you have heard those songs sometime in the Christmas season, I'm very sorry. I'm not going to repeat those two, the names of those two, because it might actually influence somebody to go, well, how bad can they be? And frankly, I don't want to leave this radio studio and go home to watch Steelers and Texans, to watch Eagles and Raiders, to watch whatever hoop normally I don't watch a whole lot of NBA. It's not my favorite, but I might check out. Knicks on Christmas has become a tradition, right? The Knicks are to Christmas what the Cowboys and Lions are to Thanksgiving, right? Okay. I don't want, when I walk out the door, to hear the screams of horror from the residents of East Tennessee collectively, because they were listening to Tri-City Sports Now and said, well, how bad can these Christmas carols be? I don't want to see, people running down the streets, totally made insane. It's like the dog would go crazy whenever Mary Hart would go onto the TV set. I've thought about going crazy when I saw Mary Hart on the TV set, but it's for different reasons than, I believe, the dog. Let's see. They got a real seesaw, though, speaking of the NBA here. It's now 50-48. Lots of lead changes. 50-48 Sixers over the Knicks. No one is on that. That's on ESPN. Okay, so they've got 5 nationally televised NBA games today. Silver really pushing the NBA in Christmas. So what can you say? I was mentioning a little bit about how Josh Rosen talking about maybe he's not going to, maybe he'll play another year at UCLA so he doesn't get drafted by the Browns. Talking a little bit about how the Browns Steelers game could influence the playoffs next. So we're talking a little bit too much about Cleveland sports for Tri-City Sports Now, but I did want to make one more mention, and that would be a sad note. Holiday season. About a week ago, Walter Goldbach died at the age of 88. For those who don't know, Walter Goldbach is the artist who drew Chief Wahoo, the logo of the Cleveland Indians. It's my favorite sports logo. And it's come over a lot of fire. Basically, it's a caricature of a grinning Indian. And I do not see hate in this. It has been around for 70 years. It was commissioned, and Goldbach said, look, I never, ever intended to draw anything that would cause, harm to anyone, never anything of racial overtones. I was commissioned by Bill Veeck, the man who broke the color barrier in the American League. He signed Larry Doby to draw. They wanted a caricature as a logo. Bill Veeck, sports and sense of humor. We try to do it here, but it isn't done as much. You don't think basically of the athlete as the funny guy. Terry Bradshaw a little bit, Peyton Manning, Jay Johnstone and Tug McGraw maybe, but you don't, athletes don't tend to be really humorous. The nervous laughter when a coach tells a pretty bad joke during a press conference. Not that it's offensive, it's just that it's not that funny. That's sports in the sense of humor. Jim Valvano was a basketball figure. That's why I loved him. He had a sense of humor. But Bill Veeck was one of those guys who understood what a friendly caricature would be. It saddens me, it saddened Walter Goldbach to see his art lambasted wrongfully. I guess it's because I really think right now in our society we're trying to find hate where it doesn't exist. You've got a logo up that's been there for 70 years. Nobody had a problem with it until just, recently. Times change, but not always for the better. And when you're trying to find hate in a baseball logo, trust me, sports teams are not looking to divide. They're looking for things that attract. Attractive caricature. You have the artist say, look, there is no racial intent. You have the man who commissioned it, broke the color barrier in the American League. What else do you need to know? You don't have to like the logo. Nobody's saying you do. You can root for another team if you so desire. But don't find hate where it doesn't exist. And that's what I think is what the real, you want to talk about times changing? Yeah, that's what I think the modern day bigot does. He tries to find hate where it doesn't exist, for his own political agendas. I really believe that. Anyway, it's Tri-City Sports now. Going on to the arch rival of the Cleveland Browns, or that was the Indians, but this is the Browns, so we'll make the segue here. One thing that went on this weekend I wanted to discuss, I've talked about the Steelers-Texans game. Some news out of the Steelers. First of all, this Saturday, when James Harrison was cut, 39-year-old linebacker has always tried to keep himself in exquisite shape. But released, they were bringing back Marcus Gilbert, lineman from a 4-game injury. Need to cut someone. Harrison hasn't played much. He did have a sack in limited time. Mike Tomlin, I'm convinced, does not like veterans. And I think that there's one question that needs to be asked in the AFC, and it's who retires first, Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger? There are reports out now that the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, Todd Haley, isn't getting along. For the Steelers, they just don't fire coaches. Chuck Noll retired, Bill Cowher retired. They just, find their guy, and he goes for... And Tomlin has actually mentioned this year, Mike Tomlin, the Steelers coach, of coaching another 25 years. Another 25 years of playing to the level of one's opponent. That's the question here. I want to look at this, and I say that that's been the knock against the Steelers for a long time. They play to the level of their opponent, and that sort of discusses a poorly coached team. Look, you've got a team right now, Aaron Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and you're losing to a system in New Orleans. You're not making the necessary adjustments, double teaming Rob Gronkowski, what have you, when push comes to shove. You're not having 2 plays called in the huddle at the end of the ball game instead of trying to rush in a play, and you therefore then see, the interception that cost you the game. This, despite the record of the Steelers, I'm not necessarily certain Mike Tomlin is the most wonderful coach in the world. He's not a good game strategist. Remember last year when Terry Bradshaw said he was a cheerleader more than a coach? I'm inclined to believe Terry Bradshaw. I've got this number for you. The last 10 games, Steelers have been favorites by more than a touchdown. On the road, they're 2-8 against the spread. They're a 9-point favorite at Houston today. Just saying. That shows playing to the level of the opponent. Antonio Brown is out. Like I said before, this may be Ben Roethlisberger's last run. He's got 2 more years on his contract. But now reports that Todd Haley and he are not getting along. We've had Paul Zeiss come on this show and talk a little bit about, I wonder if he just, it's the point where there is the generational divide. I'm 10 years older than most of the players on this team. I'm 15 years older than my primary receiver in this game, Juju Smith-Schuler. Also, Tomlin historically has always been of the mindset to grease the skids for a veteran a year early before it's a year late. That's why Harrison actually 4 years ago played for the Cincinnati Bengals for a season. I wanted to show him the door real quick, but I think D'Angelo Williams probably could play and could have been brought back. No, let's get rid of him. Bring in James Conner, a rookie. I think Charlie Batch could have continued to be the backup quarterback of the Steelers for a year or two. Tried everything they could do to find younger men to be the backup quarterback of the Steelers. He was winning games 27-0 in relief of Roethlisberger. Did not make a lot of sense. Except the one thing I don't want to do is grow old with the team. Have an old team. But the flip side of that is that for all the cheerleading and the youth on the team that really thinks it's good, after a while you begin to think, This is a business, and they're trying to shove me out. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the motivation and some of the talk from Roethlisberger, in addition to good probing questioning, but in addition to this, is that he would rather choose when he is going to leave the Steelers than have the Steelers choose it for him. He's got millions of dollars still on the table if he continues to play. I don't think that they would be looking for a new quarterback to replace him next season. But what about in 2 years? What about if Josh Dobbs does develop? What about if Landry Jones finally clicks on his cylinders? What if there's a quarterback out there in the draft, if Rosen is around in 2019, whatever? Something to think about here for the future with the Steelers. I don't know. I just look at them and does anybody really think, unless you're a big Steelers fan, but objectively, are they the choice for you out of the AFC? I mean, to go chalk, you'd have to go Patriots. You want frisky young Colt, despite their loss to the 49ers. That defense, that run game, Jaguars gonna be tough. The upstart team in the AFC. They beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh by 21 points earlier on in the year. And heck, Roethlisberger threw 5 picks. Leonard Fournette ran 90 yards for a touchdown. That's not a bad team. Meanwhile, what do you have? And Colin Cowherd talks about this a lot. The Steelers, they're, a lot of good noise. Ooh, they cut James Harrison. Didn't see that coming. But again, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, especially when it comes 2 days before Christmas. I realize you've got a season to go, so you can't really worry about that sort of stuff. But just why people sometimes prefer the college game, it isn't the business. You don't have 39-year veteran. You don't have the man that won you the Super Bowl in 2008. And yeah, well, that's nice. Thanks for back then, but you're gone now. Somebody mentioned this. It wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots, or for that matter the Jaguars, tried to pick up James Harrison. Get him for the minimum. You pick his brain on the defense, and you reap the rewards. And you know that he would love to rub it in to the man, Mike Tomlin, who let him go. Just saying. The other thing that I was going to say is that if it is coaching versus quarterback, look for the Steelers to go coach. After all, Ben Roethlisberger, he costs a lot of money. Start to rebuild. Look for the other QB right out there. Could be Dobbs, could be Landry Jones. I don't think it would be. But it's a lot cheaper to keep a coach than it is a quarterback. And the Steelers have proven, as James Harrison proves, that they'd rather cut a player early or dissociate themselves with the player early than late. I'm talking about this a lot because I am, not only the Steelers playing the Texans tonight, 4:30 kickoff, but I think if you're a Titans fan, you really want the Steelers to win because then the Jaguars have absolutely nothing to play for. And I think, Titans, they beat the Jaguars, they're in the playoffs. It's that simple. So, there you are. Bills and Chargers are still alive, but basically they need to win and hope that the Jaguars beat the Titans. If that happens, it's seated like this. Essentially, if they lose and the Chargers win, then they are in. If both the Titans and the Chargers lose, and the Bills win, they play the Dolphins, then the Bills go in. If all three of them lose, then the Titans back in at 8-8. and probably get their heads chopped off the very next week against the team that beat them, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. So that's okay. And you can figure out, with ties and all that, how that all works. The Cowboys will not be in the playoffs. They are lost to Seattle. Disappointing season, something of a sophomore jinx year with Dak Prescott. Of course, Zeke Elliott suspended, lots of drama. Again, that's a team, lots of drama. You don't see a lot of drama. You just see surliness. The drama with the Patriots is Tom Brady's personal assistant can't hang around him. The drama with the Steelers is one of the cornerstones of the franchise is cut 2 days before Christmas. There's a lot of drama there. You tell me which is more conducive to winning. Did you like We Three Kings when he came? Did you like that Christmas Carol? I think I might be playing another similar to. Maybe I'll come back with it. Well, we'll have a Christmas Carol when we come back. Tri-City Sports Now.
What does it mean to shop at Crabtree Buick GMC? It means trust. For over 60 years, Crabtree has been selling quality vehicles in the Tri-Cities. It means